And let's crack on. Now, Sky Germany have been speaking about a couple of stuff, people. They've spoken about Jonathan David. Evidently, we're not looking at Jonathan David, I believe, and he's being linked with Inter Milan, Juventus, Barcelona, and all those things. Gyokeres means something to us. Again, Google Translate. If it doesn't make sense, forgive me in it. I'll try my best to interpret what we need to interpret. Just arrived already at work, Andrea Berta, new Italian sports director of the Gunners, has identified several priorities for the summer transfer market. With the validation of the Kroenke family, owner of the London club, among these files, Victor Gyokeres has been targeted by the former leader of Atletico Madrid, and contacts are already underway with the entourage of the player. Even if several sources confirm that Gyokeres had given his word to Ruben Amorim to join him at Man United, what does word mean? Word don't mean nothing in business. I wish, in this world, all you have is your balls and your words, yeah. But as we know, words are a cheap currency that everybody can provide, and especially in business, if I's are not dotted and T's are not crossed, there's not a grey area. If there's no such thing, arguably, as a grey area in business. So he can give his word, and I'm sure Amorim and Gyokeres, they want to be known as men of their word. But how far does that go? This summer, the complex sporting situation of the Red Devils could call into question this pack of friendship between the Swede and, I'm going to say, Amorim. A big fan of the Scandinavian striker Andrea Berta, and he was linked with Atletico Madrid, has received the necessary guarantees as to budget that will be allocated to him to carry out this operation. New appointments are still to be held in the coming weeks in order to mark the personal conditions of the player, but also to obtain certainties as to the requirements of Sporting Lisbon in terms of transfer pricing. To date, the Portuguese club is asking for 70 million euros to release Victor Gyokeres, an amount that does not scare Andrea Berta, but which will still have to be the subject of negotiations. While no written offer has yet to been deposited on the office of Federico Vanrandas, president, I assume, of Sporting, but the new sporting boss of Arsenal does not intend to stop there in relation to Zubimendi. Andrea Berta wants to compete with Real Madrid in the Martin Zubimendi case, with two fingers to join the Gunners during the summer market 2023, whatever that means. Mikel Arteta counts on the support of his new sporting director to this time find the right words and convince the entourage of the maestro of Sociedad to join the English capital. At the age of 26, the midfielder, who has 15 caps and a goal with Spain, will leave his native Basque country to pass a milestone in his career and become Rodri's number one contender in selection. With his relationship with the management of Sociedad, Real Madrid could outpace the competition, even if the last word will go to Zubimendi, who would prefer, in the current state of things, to stay in Spain. Ooh, so are we going to have to show an ability to pivot, people? That said, it was without counting on Arsenal, which, for its new sporting director, has recently reconnected with the entourage of the player to probe his intentions. The English club also relies on its Spanish identity and the offensive game project advocated by Mikel Arteta, who has often expressed a desire to have a profile similar to his when he was a player of the Gunners. Whatever happens, the demands of Sociedad remain unchanged to welcome the Spanish playmaker. It'll be necessary to pay at least 60 million, and Christian Romero could be leaving Spurs if that's where you're at. I'm sure Modric gave his word to his agents, Mikel, Edu, and clearly on socials, he was giving his word to us throughout the Jan window. We know where he went. You could throw Suarez and Caicedo in there. Rise up the working from home lot. Tell them again, man, big up the grinders and all these things, man. The day off lot, the grinding on the roads, but dedicated to the stream lot and the unemployed lot. Come on, roast beef. Tell them again. Bless up Apollo, roast beef, and sugar. Ethan, one love, man. I saw all the games at the same time. I thought they would have been doing what they were doing on Prime, showing them all, but I guess I was wrong. You know what? To be fair, I thought he was on that AFTV appearance after the game. Going in. It depends. It depends, because I'm sure Robbie and Cecil got a lot of interviews to get through. It's gonna be a late one. Not to stroke my own ego and all of that kind of stuff. But Robbie, if I do go there, man, need my own thing. I don't forget the fan roundup thing. Come on, I didn't do 10,000 K vids and do what I've done for that. Man, need my own little street. I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I don't know. Go on then. Go. Honestly, it depends how I feel, man. It depends how I feel, man. I more just want to race home and be here with you lot. Smash the likes, hyper, big up yourself, man. One of the contenders of moderator of the season. There's a lot. I can't lie, Marcel's gonna be bottom. He's moving like Odegaard. I can't lie to you. But yeah, to be fair, we didn't learn anything here. We know we're in for Zubimendi. We know Real Madrid and everyone's sniffing around it. We know he's got a release clause in and around 50 odd million. We know he's a target of Mikel Arteta. I've previously said, and I'm happy about the Gyokeres thing. I wanted him, but I just didn't think he was one Arsenal particularly rate. Obviously, that's changed now. When you look at, I don't doubt, because regardless, there's bare teams that need a striker. Liverpool, if they get rid of Darwin Núñez, need a forward. Newcastle are linked with a striker, whether Isaac comes in or they get a replacement. Obviously, our club is. Everybody's linked with a striker, so everybody's getting linked with the same kind of names. My thing is, A, if you don't get Zubimendi and Gyokeres, make sure you pivot. Two, I don't know, because it feels, I'm not saying there's not legitimacy in the Gyokeres thing, because we have still been scouting strikers at different levels and different profiles, and you had to have had Gyokeres on some sort of list, but news announced on Sunday or Saturday. Sunday, it comes out that obviously, we're in for Gyokeres. And when you read between the lines, and seeing David Ornstein speak about it does give, obviously, when David Ornstein and Romano speak, it gives any transfer rumors a lot more credibility than like a Ben Jacobs, with all due respect. But at the same time, and we've gone over the article in The Athletic, you lot go and take that in. What did we really learn? Beyond the excitement, like, again, words are down to interpretation, but it said we're showing a strong interest. We should have been showing a strong interest, and everyone should have a strong interest in an Isaac, a Gyokeres, whether we think he's good or not. But based on the club's into him, Sesko, we never heard talks are really going down or anything. I'm sure in the back burners, we're seeing what personal terms will look like, seeing if we've got the budget, seeing if Sporting would accept favourable terms, but we didn't actually learn anything. And obviously, we finally got Berta in. You're linked with Gyokeres. Saka is back. Obviously, most fans are at the stage of acceptance, if you're not already, where the Premier League and FA Cup's concerned, and the test of Real Madrid. It builds a lot more optimism, and the sentiment around the club looks a bit better. Everything I've said previously in relation to the summer, everything I'm going to say across the summer, I just want you lot to always remember, I am a bit impatient, because everything I'm going to say, I probably said it last year. So with that caveat, we need to get this summer spot on. We need to identify, for me, 3 key areas to improve our immediate starting 11. Striker, left wing, centre mid. I'd also say we need another left back. I know it wouldn't be a summer transfer window without that. We need a goalie. Clearly, we need to flush out some of the players that are on big wages and don't have a future here. Evidently, we know who needs to get a new contract. It's the same old, same old. Not expecting us to do everything all at once, but significance. And for me, with a Gyokeres, I know I'm an ignorant fan, but just get that one done early, man. He's 26. I know people have comments to say about how Arsenal are on the transition and the low blocks and the way Sporting play and we play are very different. But what does that really mean? If you're a good player, you're a good player. For me, with Gyokeres, I'm not saying he's going to be the best thing since sliced bread. I do think there's going to be an exchange rate. I don't think you're getting 40 goals or whatever madness, great statistics, what we need as a striker. I don't think you're going to get that in the Prem. I do think there's going to be a currency exchange, but I think he's got a variety of goals. Actually doesn't score that many with his head, but I think he can score tap-ins, instinctive finishes, score with his head. I think his movement's good, either in the channels or dropping deep. I think he's a smart kind of footballer. He's not the slowest, but he's not the quickest, but he's one where he's seen something, done it. Like he's quick upstairs. So he's got everything, man. I think he can do it. He's got a bit of brute force. I think he can, in short, I think he can do what Mikel Arteta demands of a striker, and also do, no matter how much the game's advanced, smash the like button of what we need from a traditional striker. Put the ball in the back of the net. And I know Arteta is very niche in terms of his profile. And I have previously said, if being clinical was the prerequisite of Mikel Arteta being a striker, all different circumstances, but you don't necessarily play Eddie Nketiah when he's here. You don't necessarily play Kai Havertz up there. You don't necessarily sign or play Gabriel Jesus, but they all can do, and Mikel Merino at this moment in time, they can all do the dropping into midfield, pulling out wide, all of that kind of stuff, really and truly. I do think, I use the term loosely, but Arteta kind of wants a false nine of sorts, really and truly. Like, he really does, and it's a difficult task because you got to do all of that. I do think being a striker at Arsenal, you've got to be the sacrificial lamb. Like, you've got to occupy defenders, and maybe runners from midfield or people out wide could benefit. But you also have to be able to score goals. And if you've got someone putting up Saka numbers, if you've got a man, which I think he could be someone you'd expect to get 20 league goals, you get a decent left winger. The other ones chip in here and there. It gets better, man, really and truly. But I need to see Gyokeres, a new left winger, Bukayo Saka, Wanyeri. These are the ones I'm betting on. To be fair, whether you agree with it or not, and Kai Havertz is a complete different conversation. he's pulled his weight a lot more than some of his attacking colleagues, rightly or wrongly. That's testament to him and damning on our football club. Going to need him, people. But that kicks us off with the Gyokeres stuff. Again, I want to be wary on hearing chat because it has to correlate. Mikel Arteta, you took the job, no one put a gun to your head, and all these things. But I do think at the same time, we didn't move serious in this year's January period, much less the summer. We have to maximize the market and stuff. And all this being excited and trusting processes and all of this, even if as a fan you felt how you're probably feeling now as an Arsenal fan, but you said, you know what, I'm going to give Arteta a chance, Edu a chance, give all you lot a chance under these 5 years. For 3 of them, not so much this year, but we're having different conversations, being second. Even if you were prepared to give them a chance, you are starting to look of, we're getting back to what we used to be, where the talking off the pitch wasn't necessarily correlating on it. We've got a lot to do. When Edu and Arteta came in, they dealt with, they were getting contracts done. They were, dealing with the previous regimes, big players on big contracts, not doing the job. We've got into that already, rightly or wrongly. Mourinho somehow, I think, I do think last summer Mikel Arteta has identified targets that might not be bad players, but they don't really help us, quote unquote, in the grand scheme of things. And then you've got Edu, you've done the 2 things I think you've done well. You indirectly take some part of, back-to-back 8 finishing second, the good and bad that comes with it. The club is in a better state from when you walked in to when you walked out. But Arteta is identifying targets that are a bit, and you're not negotiating, right? Like 65 million for Kai Havertz. It's only a 5 million loss from Chelsea. Mourinho had a year left on his deal at Sociedad. You've given them 30 odd million. You've put him on 130 grand. Now, Zinchenko, I hear it, but he's on 150. So we're in that cocktail pause of Mikel Arteta in the last year identifying some mediocre players, if I'm completely honest, or at times, and Edu just not handling the P's right, in which hopefully Andrea Berta can be something different in that. It's going to be a big one, in brackets, summer, and we are very excited about it. Mikel Arteta drops big summer transfer hint. I hear that. I hope it is. I'm at the point now, if it's going to be a big summer, show me. Let me see a striker. Let me see a centre mid. Let me see these people come in. And I know I'm being harsh because I'm just an armchair expert. Get them in quickly. Get them in pre-season. I think we're going Hong Kong. We are, because we got a North London derby. Get them in. Let's keep it moving, really and truly. He said it's going to be a big transfer window for us. We're excited about it. We need to increase the depth of the squad, but as well, you want to increase certain qualities and skills that we need now to go to the next step. I like that, because you're saying it very diplomatically, but to go to the next step, we do need certain qualities and we do need depth. Bearing in mind, this manager 2-3 times last season said we've got one of the smallest squads in the league. So I don't think we can disagree. Now, The Athletic have been speaking, and again, can we please make sure we're smashing the like button, people? You lot are buying it, but The Athletic have been speaking. Arsenal's Gyokeres interest, the impact on Man United, Liverpool, Chelsea, Isaac, and Sesko. The striker market is one of the key areas of interest for Premier League sides ahead of the summer transfer window. Several of the biggest clubs in England's top flight want a new striker, including Arsenal, Chelsea, Manchester United, and Liverpool might also want to bring in a 9, although they're not just targeting an elite player in that position. On Sunday, The Athletic's David Ornstein and James McNicholas reported Arsenal were developing a strong interest in Victor Gyokeres. They have done work on other strikers too, while Mikel Arteta is a huge fan of Alexander Isak. I mean, we're all fans of Isak, but for a variety of reasons, that's a myth. So what knock-on impact does Arsenal's interest in Gyokeres have on the rest of the market? Is he the only option? Who will other teams go for? And who are the strikers to keep an eye on? I mean, if he's your only target, you damn well make sure you get him, because if you don't, it's dark. Why is Gyokeres the subject of Arsenal's interest? Now, it was all Isak was the impossible dream. Sesko was the probable addition. Gyokeres was someone that was banded in the papers. And maybe, there's something we don't know, because I remember we did a stream and it was a report out of Spain saying Mikel Arteta Roberto had a secret meeting with Gyokeres, and I dismissed it on the credibility of the source. And then literally the next day, Ornstein and these lot made the same article that's being referred to here. Arsenal's need for a centre forward is well known, and with Kai Havertz and Gabriel Jesus currently sidelined through injury, glaringly obvious they have followed a number of potential targets over the past 18 months, most recently engaging with Aston Villa in talks for Ollie Watkins in January. Their interest in Gyokeres has until now been somewhat lukewarm. Okay, so I might have been a bit right at one point that I don't really think we're feeling him like that, but that's changed. With the arrival of Berta as sporting director, however, that appears set to change. Berta is a long-standing admirer of Gyokeres, and it is expected the 26-year-old Sweden international will figure prominently among the names Arsenal consider this summer. Now, I would like a project striker in addition to Gyokeres, and I think that's an area we've got to target long-term. I don't know how long Kai's got. Gabriel Jesus, maybe you could be a wide option. Maybe you could be an option in the squad, but you probably need to be moved on. I kind of want to play a right now mode, and I think Gyokeres has got that. But in an ideal world, for me, you get Gyokeres, you get Sesko, your number 2, your rotation option, you get a left winger, and then you've got the Kais, the Trossards, the Martinellis, or at least 2 of the 3 chipping in and rotating in and out the side. Now, whether we've got the wage budget, whether that is going to happen, evidently is not. We haven't learned anything now, apart from Berta has an interest in Gyokeres. So is it a coincidence that Berta's a long-standing admirer of Gyokeres? Berta's been announced. And now we're developing a strong interest. Is Mikel Arteta and Berta and everyone, when they're sitting down, bearing in mind we've heard for the best part of a year, we've been doing the groundwork for Sesko. Has Berta come in and said, yeah, I hear that Sesko's good and that, but listen, it's a Gyokeres thing. I hope so. What about Sesko or Isak? There is no doubt about Mikel Arteta's preferred choice of centre forward position. He wants Alexander Isak. I want a date with Kelly Rowland, but we can't have anything. Brandon, shout me though. There is, however, an acceptance at Arsenal that reaching a deal with a reluctant Newcastle United may prove impossible. Sesko 21 is another name Arsenal are strongly considering. They have followed his development closely and were interested last summer until the Slovenian international decided to sign a new contract with RB Leipzig. Arsenal have continued to watch his progress with a view to possibly reigniting their interest this summer, although there are reservations about his readiness to make an immediate impact in the Premier League. Immediate impact is subjective, but for me, I hear that, and you are allowed to change your mind, and clearly there are concerns. Gyokeres is more all-rounded, significantly more experienced, but we've been chasing my man for a year. Just prior to last week, we heard we're doing the groundwork. We're prepared to wait. We know exactly what they want. Now you're hearing and it's all of these articles seem to be quite similar. Anyone that follows Arsenal's transfers and whether they work or not, or definitely if you've been part of these live streams, we're hearing certain codes and words and terminologies that we hear all the time. So yeah, man, Gyokeres gets parked off. Bearing in mind, Sesko gets parked off. Bearing in mind where Sesko is concerned, Chelsea, Arsenal, Man United, his agent was at all of them games last year. So who knows, man? Had we have signed Gyokeres, maybe he hits the ground running. Sesko, he hits the ground running. We're not talking about a striker this summer. Maybe he would have stunk up the place and we'd be crying out for Gyokeres. What is Man United's stance? The link between Gyokeres and United is clear, given Amorim's position as head coach at Old Trafford. Amorim got Gyokeres fine in Portugal with a system that suits him, but talk of a reunion has been tempered at United because of the cost it would take to get him from Sporting and then pay wages. Gyokeres is 27 in June, and United may look to go a shade younger. Other options such as Liam Delap already being explored. I personally think Man United need an experienced striker, but there's been years of incompetence at Manchester United financially. So there ain't, rightly or wrongly, there is no surprise. The Ineos group have put people, whether they work or not, in certain positions, and they're streamlining the whole kind of club, which rightly or wrongly they need to. Liam Delap half-heartedly is linked with Arsenal. Man United have also been linked with Osimhen there. What about Sesko or Chelsea an option? Yes, Chelsea first became interested in Sesko 3 years ago and they've been following his progress closely ever since. While he was on their radar in 2022, Chelsea decided he was still a bit too raw and he already had an agreement in place to join Leipzig from sister club Salzburg anyways. Sesko then showed his commitment to Leipzig and desire to continue his development in the Bundesliga by signing a new contract last June. Chelsea tried to get Samu Amradon, who was linked with Vars, Osimhen, who we all love. John Duran's obviously gone over there to Saudi. So yeah, man, everybody's got to get someone. Sesko is certainly one of 5 or 6 options the club are looking at. And nobody signed anyone. Like, everybody's linked with Sesko. Everyone's linked with Isak, who's not leaving, and we can forget that. Everyone's linked with Osimhen, Liam Delap, Samu. Everybody can't get everyone in it, apart from Chelsea, because they'll spend like £1 billion. But even them, Liverpool would have to pay a lot for Isak. Is that feasible? It depends on the numbers involved. The club's senior recruitment figures certainly admire Isak, but it's highly unlikely that Liverpool would agree to pay 150 million for him. Liverpool recently announced a 57 million pre-tax loss of 2023-24. So yeah, it's going to cost peas. It's going to cost peas. Is there anything else? Who are the strikers to keep an eye on? Openda, naturally. Mine's is Bokat. He's got 15 goals. I'm not really a fan of his like that, but I think he's decent. Nick Wolf, mate, ain't really got an informed opinion on him, if I'm honest with you. You've also got Hugo Ekitike, who's got 13 goals from Eintracht Frankfurt. He's been linked with us again. Are any of those ready for a Premier League breakout? The reality is you never know. You never know. Keeping up the theme with recruitments, people, there has been and still are internal skeptics about Leroy Sané's contract extension. However, his performances and commitment are increasingly being recognized. Max L continues negotiations, and Sane is willing to accept a pay cut. No written offer from Bayern yet. The club must now make a move. Sane wants to stay, with a decision expected within 1 to 3 weeks. Arsenal are seriously interested in signing him as a free agent in the summer. Smash the like button. Keep your comments coming. We're going to circle back, people. In the summer, concrete talks have already taken place. What's the wages, though? We have heard pay cut rumors, but Gyokeres, Sane, Saka, can we do the Nico Williams thing? Maybe it's a contingency plan. A decision regarding Sane's future is expected within 1 to 3 weeks, as we've said, people. Concrete talks have already taken place, allegedly, with Arsenal. But when there's peculiar contractual situations with a player, you have to take, in this case, Arsenal's alleged interest with a pinch of salt. We have previously seen Arteta on Berta said he's exactly what we need, new blood with people that are so ambitious and so attracted to the football club with what we already do, but want to add value. Arteta on Wanyeri and Lewis Skelly said they're doing exceptional. It's like going from go-karting to Formula One in one day. They didn't have any loan spells, any experience in the Championship, from academy to Arsenal first team. That's very rare, exceptional. Big up our Highlanders, man, in that regard. Again, keep your discussions coming. Victor Gyokeres, discuss us, people. Disgusting, please. But yeah, give me your thoughts. Bakayo is ready to go. He has the most goal contributions this season for Arsenal, despite being out injured for the last 3 months. He's got 22 GA in 24. It is what it is in that regards. And he was pictured in training, the star boy, man. Obviously, there's a lot of concerns that we've all got, but at this point, it is what it is. For Arsenal this season, the statistics are clear. Most goals and assists, most big chances, most take-ons, highest XA is that expected assist. I don't know. He really wants it. He's pushing. He really wants it. We have respected the timeline. We had to even hold him back. He's ready to go, people. We'll circle back on that. Big chances per 90. He's up there across Europe's top 5 leagues as well, people. Allegedly, Arsenal and Chelsea are preparing offers in the region of 35 to 40 million to sign Barcelona midfielder Marc Casado. I wouldn't mind him at all. Very much a typical Barcelona player, but also untypical. He's more tenacious than you would expect of one of their midfielders. Final third pass is completed. Odegaard, Timber, Rice are all up there. Partey somewhere down. That just tells me there's a rejigging that needs to be done with us in the final third. Signing players is only part of the problem. Again, Saka propaganda, most assists, most key passes, most big chances created, second most goal involvements, third most touches in the up box of players in the Premier League per 90, people, of 1,200 plus minutes. West Ham are prepared to sell Mohamed Kudus this summer with his release clause set at 85 million. The forward has been linked with Saudi Arabia. It's mad, isn't it, being linked with a country? Arsenal, Liverpool, and Tottenham. I mean, Liverpool, if Salah leaves, the right wing's right there for you. Spurs probably need him a lot more than Arsenal and Liverpool. I'm having him at Arsenal. We should have bought him when he was at Ajax, can compete / deputize for Saka, can play in the 10 as well. If Odegaard's acting, probably going to get first team football off the left. There's no way in God's green earth Arsenal are going to spend 85 million on him. I do think his consistency levels needs to go up, but it's got everything you would want in an attacking player. Once again, if you've been living under a rock, to circle back over the Gyokeres thing and have you lot covered, Arsenal are developing a strong interest in Gyokeres as they consider their options to recruit a striker this summer. Gyokeres has long been admired by Andrea Berta and is expected to figure prominently among those the club consider signing in the transfer window. Once again, Mikel Arteta is a fan of his. It's going to take big money. Arsenal have also done a lot of groundwork on Benjamin Sesko, but it's unclear if they'll proceed with a move. Gyokeres is therefore now a more prominent candidate than he might have been in the past. So maybe Berta is the one driving that, in which I don't mind a ready-made person. Again, I covered this yesterday, but if you've been under a rock, it's been confirmed Arsenal will face Tottenham in Hong Kong on Thursday, the 31st of July, as part of our preparations for next season. It will be played at 11:30 a.m. UK time, which is great for me to do a watch along with you lot. Big up the fans of all football clubs overseas, because I don't know if I could do it. You lot have to wake up at stupid o'clock and get your kids ready, eat, shower, use the toilet, go to work, and all these mad things. So yeah, big up you lot, man. I'm not jealous of you lot, but preseason typically is a time where I am like, there was one, what game was it? I'm sure it was last year. The game was in America. It kicked off at like 3, and the game was delayed. I was half dead when I was up trying to watch it with you lot. Manchester City allegedly will try to fight Real Madrid to sign William Saliba this summer. Good luck. We need a left back. I maintain that Tierney's gone. Tomiyasu's a flight risk in terms of staying fit. Calafiori can't stay fit. Lewis Skelly, calm. Calafiori and Lewis Skelly, calm. Zinchenko probably gone. I'm on another left back. Sorry, people, but any messing about next season, you will probably have to see Timber left back. And some of you are more against that than I actually am. I'd love Gyokeres. I reckon he goes Liverpool. If there's ever, I would say him and Robertson of Fulham. If there's ever a player you look at Liverpool and you just think, yeah, you just suit them, go for that. But if there is a few bob going around, I wouldn't mind the young Hungarian people. Atletico Madrid have entered the race to sign Gyokeres and Benjamin Sesko. They want one of them to play alongside Julian Alvarez in Diego Simeone's team. Arsenal, Chelsea, and Man United are also in the hunt for these strikers. It seems, I don't want to say we're going to get Gyokeres because we haven't heard bids, medicals, and talks taking place, but it seems like where journalists have been concerned, the rumours to other strikers are taking a bit of a hit, but Arsenal allegedly are considering Eintracht Frankfurt striker Hugo Ekitike as a cheap alternative to Newcastle's. Exactly. Wouldn't mind the developmental one. Bring Nico Williams. Hansi Flick allegedly considers that Luis Diaz does not fit into his profile. He prefers to bet on younger players like Nico Williams or Ademola Lookman from Atalanta. We need to be getting one of those for our damn selves. Is this going to load? What is this, people? Big up Jed Spence, man, because he understands the culture. On Lewis Skelly doing the Haaland thing, I loved it. He's a bad boy for that. Haaland said to him, "Who are you?" He scored and let him know. And again, big up Jed Spence, especially because you should be in the England team. You're doing well for your club, even though Spurs are shit, and I'll never give them plaudits. Do all right there. You can come and sit on the bench for Arsenal, you know. But he said something there what people like to forget. Shout out Versus as well, by the way. Everybody's saying he lacks humility. Lewis Skelly was drawn out first by Haaland, but I'm bored of discussing that, people. Real Madrid in decisive meeting to take 60 million euro star from Arsenal. Real Madrid are threatening to ruin the summer of Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta. So again, this is in relation to Zubimendi. But equally, there's also reports from Spain from certain journalists saying there's no point talking about it. He's going to Arsenal. It all depends. And some say it all depends on how much Real Madrid want him. I mean, they apparently want to grow their Spanish contingent. They got the Jude Bellinghams, they got the Camavingas, they got the Valverdes. Leave something for the rest of us. But to have someone that's spoken about as being the next best to Rodri in that 6 in Spain, it makes sense to grab him. And Real Madrid is Real Madrid, and also it presents him with the opportunity to stay in Spain. And at 26, time flies, man. You know, Xabi Alonso will link you there soon, but yeah, Zubimendi still linked with Real Madrid. Arsenal have reportedly been left particularly impressed by Victor Gyokeres, Victor Osimhen, Jonathan David, and Hugo Ekitike following recent scouting checks. We know we need a striker. We know we've been linked with all the names I said there, and we've been linked with Ollie Watkins, Vlahovic, Moise Kean, Ratugi. I don't believe you two because I just think we've been looking for a striker, and you lot are having great seasons in form. We've all known about Victor Boniface for a while. He tried to go Saudi. I don't buy that. Gyokeres, I'm on that. David and Ekitike, I wouldn't be against it, but I don't think we're on that. Vlahovic, we've been linked before. The publication has also stated that reports on Gyokeres, Osimhen, David, and Ekitike were particularly impressive. All 4 players are expected to secure permanent moves this summer, although Arsenal will face significant competition for each of them amid interest from a magnitude of clubs across Europe. So does it feel like there's going to be a scramble for a striker this summer? Because I don't think like all of these names, yeah, realistically, everybody, like as we know, I'm sure Liverpool fans would like a striker. Arsenal fans would like a striker. Newcastle fans would like a striker. Chelsea fans would like a striker. Paris Saint-Germain fans would like a striker. Juventus probably are going to get another forward in addition to Koulibaly. And there's probably a bunch of other clubs. I don't know. City don't need one because you've got Haaland, although he's injured. But you can make a case of everybody needing a striker, whether that's a talismanic figure like in Arsenal's case, or, you know, provided Isaac stays, which is going to happen, somebody that can fill in and join in the squad in Newcastle's case. But really, all of these man can't get moved. Surely, not everybody can move. Like, there's too many names there, and there's some names that we've been linked to. You throw Sesko in there as well. Like, do we really think Ollie Watkins, Gyokeres, Sesko, Isaac, asterisk? Because I don't think that's the case. Osimhen, Ratugi, Samu, all of these guys, they're not surely all going to get moves in the summer. Like, everybody's not going to move. Once again, allegedly, the above mentioned outlet also states Arsenal have held initial talks with Sane over a Bosman summer transfer. Arteta has made no secret of the fact he still has a good relationship with his former Man City colleague. But same way you're kind of airing the Sesko thing, tell Arteta like this, Nico Williams or something like this. Arsenal are said to be seriously interested in Sane, and their infatuation with Sane is nothing new either, with football transfers already exclusively reporting last summer that they were considering him as an option, people. I mean, I would love Elise, but he played for Bayern Munich, lad. I'm not sure what I was trying to get